Everyone wants to be great, but no one wants to pay the price. This video isn't for the comfort seekers. It's for the few who are ready to trade excuses for action, who are tired of playing small, and who are finally ready to become who they were meant to be. Let's begin. The lonely chapter, the price of becoming different. There's a chapter nearly every high achiever must walk through. It's rarely talked about. It's not glamorous, but it's real. And if you're reading this, you're probably in it. It's the lonely chapter. You don't laugh at the same jokes anymore. You don't enjoy the same parties. You look around at your friends, and while they're busy planning weekend trips, you're busy figuring out how to build an automation system for your side hustle. They're comparing shoes, you're comparing conversion rates. And slowly, you feel out of place. When you begin to change your life, you don't immediately join the ranks of the successful. You don't suddenly gain access to the circle of high-level people you admire. You're stuck in between, no longer part of your old world, but not yet invited into the new one. It's a no man's land, and it feels brutally lonely. You're watching videos, listening to podcasts, reading books, taking notes. But here's the truth. You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're just in the chapter that every serious person goes through, the one with no applause, no results, and no one cheering you on, not even yourself. Your friends influence your behavior more than you realize. Ask yourself, if I keep hanging out with these people, am I more or less likely to hit my goals? If the answer isn't a clear yes, you already know the answer. Here's the hard truth no one wants to say out loud. You have to love your goals more than you love your friends. Not because you're heartless, but because you can't live two lives at the same time. You can't be the guy partying all weekend and the guy waking up at 5 a.m. building something great. You can't want the life most people don't have and keep doing what most people do. If you want a normal life, do what's comfortable. If you want an exceptional life, you need to become someone most people are afraid to be. There was a young guy I mentored, 21 years old, obsessed with coding. His friends constantly mocked him. What are you, a robot now? Come on, man, live a little. He stopped coding, started drinking, gaming, clubbing. A year later, no money, no progress, no code. One night, hungover and alone, he opened his dusty laptop. A message he had once typed into his screensaver popped up. Every line of code I write today is a brick in the life I want tomorrow. He stared at it for 5 minutes. Then he deleted all the games, blocked social media, and started coding again. 3 years later, he's the CTO of a fintech startup with 1 million users. This isn't a motivational fairy tale. This is the cost of choosing the wrong group. Bad friends are the fastest way to kill a dream. Accept this. Most of your current friendships are built on convenience, not alignment. When your environment changes, accept this. Most of your current friendships are built on convenience, not alignment. When environment changes, most of those lifelong friends will disappear. Real friends will never hold you back from becoming your best. Process the brutal truth right now. You are in between two groups. You're no longer one of them, but you haven't earned your place among them either, and that's okay. This chapter, this silence, this discomfort, is where your new self is being formed. There are no applause breaks here, no encouragement, no instant rewards. But you will learn the most important skill of all, the ability to do what's necessary without anyone noticing. If you're standing at the crossroads, remember this. Your dream deserves protection from small-minded people, and if you must choose between your friends and your future, choose the one that will still matter 10 years from now. The price of being different. Everyone wants to be different until the bill shows up. See, the idea of being extraordinary sounds glamorous. People love to imagine what it would be like to be admired, respected, envied. They think being different means having cooler clothes, more money, maybe an exotic vacation or two on Instagram. But the truth? Being different means being alone. Let me paint you a picture. There are two guys. One's named Chris. One's named Marcus. Chris goes out with his boys every Friday night. He never misses a party. Drinks, girls, stories. His group loves him. He's always around, always available, always down for the next spontaneous road trip. He's the fun guy. But every Monday, Chris wakes up with anxiety. His bank account's a joke. His body's falling apart. He dreads going to work, but at least he's liked. At least no one says, "You've changed." Now Marcus. Marcus stopped replying to group texts 3 months ago. He doesn't come to the poker nights. He didn't show up for the last birthday dinner. People talk. They say he's arrogant now. They say he works too much. Truth? Marcus is broke too, but he's building something. He's spending Friday nights watching tutorials, drafting copy, cold emailing leads. No one's cheering him on. There's no applause, just silence. But here's the difference. Marcus is paying the price now so he won't have to later. Chris is avoiding the price now, but life will collect it anyway, with interest. You don't pay for success with money. You pay with isolation, with judgment, with self-doubt. You pay with misunderstood seasons of your life where people whisper, "What happened to him?" You want to be different? Then expect to be treated differently. No one claps for the guy who's grinding quietly. They only clap when you win, and even then, many will just pretend to smile. I remember when I skipped my cousin's wedding, not because I didn't care, but because I was broke and needed to close one last client. The rest of my family was drinking champagne and dancing while I was in a hoodie, sweating through a Zoom pitch. They didn't get it. They thought I was cold, selfish. Success isn't everything, they told me. Here's what they don't understand. To me, success isn't everything. It's the only thing. Because success isn't just about money, it's freedom. It's the ability to protect your family. It's control over your time. It's sleeping at night without dread gnawing at your stomach. But that control comes with a price. And the sooner you accept that price, the faster you move. The mistake most people make is, they want the result of being different, but they're addicted to feeling the same. They want to be respected, but still need everyone's approval. They want to lead, but are terrified of being judged. But let me make this clear. You cannot have both. You either become who you were meant to be, or you stay liked by people who were never going where you're going. So when it hurts, when it's lonely, when no one gets you, good. That's the receipt. That's the invoice for becoming exceptional. Because when you finally make it, you'll have earned it. And nothing's more satisfying than knowing you did it without shortcuts, without clout chasing, without trying to please people who wouldn't even show up for you if you failed. This is the price. Not everyone is willing to pay it. But if you are, then I promise it's worth it. Working without a reward. Most people don't lack talent. They just lack patience. And the tragedy is, they quit right before the reward shows up. You can hit the gym for 3 months and still not see a difference in the mirror. You can post weekly videos and barely crack a few hundred views. You can launch a business and wait forever for your first customer. Then comes the question, what am I even doing? Is this really worth it? The answer is yes, but only if you keep going. The truth is, successful people aren't always more gifted. They just mastered one thing, doing the work without the reward, long enough to earn the reward. Here's a simple analogy. Imagine you're digging a well, trying to find water. Most people dig 3 scoops, see nothing, and walk away. The persistent ones keep digging. At scoop 500, a little moisture. At scoop 700, boom, water gushes out. The problem? Nobody knows which scoop they're on, so they quit. Too early. You might be closer than you think, right before the breakthrough. When you're doing the work and not seeing results, don't quit. Adjust. Maybe you need a different strategy. You need better skills. Maybe you just need more time. But one thing is certain, you need to keep going. Here's a tough pill to swallow. The world doesn't reward effort. It rewards results. And results come to those who stay in the game. So learn how to work without needing immediate gratification. It's a survival skill, a superpower of the high achievers, because You don't get paid for the hours you work. You get paid for the value you create, and value takes time to build. Don't learn like school taught you. Let's get something straight. School didn't prepare you for success. It prepared you to follow instructions. You were trained to wait for permission, to ask for help before trying, to fear mistakes, to believe there's only one right answer. That mindset? It's the killer of real progress. The real world doesn't work like that. In the real world, there's no teacher guiding your every step. There's no syllabus. There's no A+ waiting at the top of your paper. Instead, it's messy. It's unclear. You have to figure it out as you go. You have to move without knowing. Success doesn't come from being smart. It comes from taking action, then adjusting. That means starting when you're unprepared, figuring things out mid-flight, making mistakes and learning fast. In school, failure meant shame. In life, failure is feedback. The faster you fail, the faster you learn. Here's a truth nobody told you. There isn't one right path. There are hundreds. The only wrong move is doing nothing. Waiting for the perfect strategy, you'll die still waiting. Meanwhile, someone dumber, less prepared than you, already launched, already failed, already learned, and is now ahead. The sun. So how do you win in the real world? You learn by doing, failing, ixing, and repeating. You don't need a PhD. You need to be a problem solver, someone who says, I don't know how, but I'll figure it out, because those are the people who rise, not the ones who memorize formulas, but the ones who build things. If you want to be exceptional, you must unlearn the rules that made you average. Forget waiting, forget permission, forget playing it safe, start messy, start now, and keep learning the way winners do, by doing. Balance is a myth. Let's be real, you don't build an extraordinary life by being balanced. Balance is what they tell you to chase when they want you to live a life like everyone else. Because balance is mediocrity dressed in fancy words. It sounds safe, it sounds responsible, but it also keeps you right in the middle, not failing, but never winning either. Think about the word mediocre. It literally means in the middle. And do you know what happens when you stay in the middle? You get average results, average income, average energy, average dreams. But you're not here for average. You're here to build something that lasts, something that sets your soul on fire, something that makes your family proud. And that doesn't come from balance. It comes from focus, from seasons of extreme effort, from being unbalanced for a while, on purpose. But isn't that unhealthy? Here's the truth no one tells you. Life has seasons. There's a season to grind, there's a season to rest, there's a season to hustle like a madman, and a season to disappear on a beach for a month. But trying to have it all at the same time, trying to balance work, fun, relationships, rest, hobbies, money, growth every single day, that's how you stay stuck. Winners don't live balanced days. They live intentional seasons. When you're building something great, a business, a skill, a career, you will be out of balance. You will skip parties. You will lose some friends. You will be misunderstood. But you will also create leverage. So one day you can buy all the time and freedom you want. That's the real balance. Not today's comfort, but tomorrow's control. If you want average, chase balance. If you want freedom, chase obsession, wisely. Because the truth is, everyone sacrifices something. You're either sacrificing your goals for comfort or sacrificing your comfort for your goals. The only question is, which price are you willing to pay? If you don't have demons, you just lack skills. You don't have demons inside. You're not cursed. You're not broken. You just lack skills. I know that might sound harsh, because it feels cooler to say, I've got demons in my mind. It makes you feel complex, deep, mysterious. But the truth? You simply haven't learned how to behave properly in certain situations. You're not traumatized into showing up late. You just haven't developed time discipline. You're not damaged from childhood and incapable of holding a relationship. You just haven't learned commitment and communication. You're not subconsciously sabotaging your future. You just lack the skills to stay consistent and push through discomfort. Here's what changes everything. When you call your problems demons, you make them mystical and uncontrollable. But when you name them accurately, I haven't learned this skill yet, you take your power back. And skills can be learned through trial and error, through books, mentors, repetition, and yes, failure. Let me give you a quick example. A new salesperson complains, "I just can't stay motivated after 30 days. Maybe I'm not cut out for this." Wrong. You just haven't learned the skill of loving repetition. You haven't trained yourself to find progress in practice, joy in small wins. If you want to become great at anything, you must master the skill of skill building. Start asking, when I overreact, what skill am I missing? What process do I need to learn? Adversity in the same patterns, would I the same patterns? What lesson haven't I integrated? Stop labeling yourself as damaged, broken, or haunted. You're not broken, you're just untrained. This shift in mindset will transform your life. You'll realize every weakness is just an undeveloped skill. Mental issue is just a behavior without a system. Every failure is just a real-world lesson waiting to level you up. When you treat life like a training ground, no demon can stop you. The 3-step framework to break free from emotional damage. Let's talk about something most people get trapped in: emotional wounds, past pain, and the stories we keep repeating. You've probably heard someone say, "I have trauma," or "I sabotage myself because of my past," or "I can't change because I'm damaged." But let's clear this up, once and for all. You are not broken, you are just not trained. And there's a simple 3-step framework to separate real growth from emotional drama. Step 1. Logic. Define it clearly. If you say you have trauma, ask yourself, what does that even mean? Don't say, "I have demons," that's vague. Say what you actually do. Example, I start slacking off at work after 2 months. I blow up at my partner when I feel criticized. I avoid responsibility when I feel pressure. These are behaviors, not identities. When you label the behavior, not yourself, you become free to fix it. Step 2. Evidence. Check the facts. Next question, how do I know this is really a problem? People say things like, "I always sabotage myself." Really? Always? Or did it happen 3 times in 10 years? We exaggerate pain because it makes the story sound better. But when you actually check the data, you often realize the trauma was just an isolated behavior pattern, not your identity. So write it down, get specific, stop living inside emotional fog. Facts create clarity. Step 3. Utility. Who cares? Does it matter? Now ask, does this behavior stop me from reaching my goal? If the answer is yes, then good news. You just found something you can work on. Let's say you're afraid of public speaking. Who cares? Well, if your dream is to be a leader, a CEO, or a speaker, then it matters. So it's not trauma, it's a skill gap. If you avoid commitment in relationships and you want a deep relationship, then yeah, it's a problem. But if your behavior doesn't block your vision, you can stop giving it power. Final insight. We spend too much energy explaining our wounds instead of replacing the behaviors they created. Someone breaks your trust. Now you have trust issues? No. Now you just need a better filter system, better communication, a healthier boundary framework. Don't spiritualize your struggle. Don't mystify your dysfunction. Simplify it. What do you do? What evidence supports it? Does it hurt your mission? That's the real work. That's how you become unstoppable. Pain isn't bad if it leads to the right behavior. Let's flip the script. Everyone talks about trauma like it's this villain that ruined their life. But let's take a step back and ask a bold question. What if your pain wasn't the problem? What if the real question was simply, did it make you better or worse? The hot stove test. You touched a hot stove as a kid. It burned you, it hurt. You cried, and then you never touched it again. Was that trauma? Technically, yes. A single painful stimulus that permanently changed your behavior. But was that trauma bad? Of course not. It protected you from worse injuries later. The burn taught you something that words never could. Pain can be a teacher, and sometimes it's the only one that sticks. Pain isn't the enemy. Useless pain is. We need to stop labeling every hard experience as toxic. A failed relationship? Cool. Now you know what betrayal feels like. A business flop? Now you know how to manage risk, how to spot red flags, how to operate under pressure. Pain becomes poison only when you don't learn from it, when you wear it like a badge instead of turning it into a tool. When good things go wrong. Here's the twist. If pain can lead to positive behavior, then pleasure can lead to destructive behavior. Winning the lottery? It's wrecked more lives than it's saved. Some kids born into wealth end up weak, aimless, entitled, not because they're bad people, but because they were protected from the pain that sharpens character. So again, it's not the stimulus. It's what the stimulus creates. What behavior follows it? Does it make you stronger, more focused, more committed? If yes, that pain was a gift. Reframe your story. Stop asking, why did this happen to me? Start asking, what did it teach me? What did it prepare me for? How can I use it? Let your hardship become your training arc. Let your darkest season become the one that sharpened you most. Pain can be a prison, or it can be a passport to the life you're trying to build. You get to decide. No one cares what you've been through. They only care what you do. Let's get something straight. The world doesn't owe you a thing for your pain. It doesn't pause because you're hurting. It doesn't hand you success because you had it rough. That's the brutal truth, and the sooner you accept it, the sooner you get your power back. Everyone has a story, so what? You were betrayed. You grew up poor. You were underestimated. You were abused, abandoned, heartbroken, fired, rejected, humiliated. So have millions of others. You're not alone. You're not special because you've suffered. What makes you special is what you do with that suffering. Some people turn it into fuel. Some people turn it into an excuse. Guess which one wins? Pain is not a resume. You don't get hired because you were depressed. You don't get a promotion because your mom didn't hug you. You don't build a great company because life was unfair. Results don't come from trauma. They come from action. You don't get rewarded for what happened to you. You get rewarded for how you behave despite it. Life doesn't care, but it does respond. No one cares you're tired. No one cares you're anxious. No one cares your ex cheated on you. And that's not cruel. That's fair. Because life doesn't discriminate by sympathy. It rewards execution. You can cry in the corner or you can cry while building. You can collapse or you can crawl forward. Either way, the clock doesn't stop ticking, and neither should you. Who's responsible now? Maybe it wasn't your fault what happened. Maybe it was unfair. Maybe it was evil. But it's your responsibility now. Because no one else is coming to fix it. The government won't save you. Your friends won't fix it. Your therapist can't live your life for you. It's you. And if you're not doing something about it, then you're doing something with it. Whether that's wasting time, avoiding growth, or hiding behind your past like a shield. The only story that matters. Your story isn't over, and the pain isn't the headline. What you build out of it. That's the story people remember. No one quotes the tragedy. They quote the triumph. They went through hell and still made it. You're writing that story right now with every decision, every hour, every excuse you reject. So yeah, life hurt you, but what are you going to do about it? That's the only part the world will ever care about. The final story. Are you willing to live a life worth telling? One day, you'll be 85, old, wrinkled, slower than you used to be. And when you look back, you'll ask yourself one thing. Did I live a story worth telling? Not a comfortable story, not a safe story. A great story. What makes a story great? Every story we admire, every movie, every legend, every hero follows the same arc. The hero wants something. They face trials, pain, setbacks, doubt, but they keep going. They become someone greater. They come back changed, and the world notices. Your life is no different. You're in the messy middle right now. The doubts, the demons, the loneliness. That's the part of the movie everyone fast-forwards through. But it's the part that makes the ending powerful. No one remembers the easy wins. You want a good life? Play it safe. You want a great life? Risk something. No one talks about the man who never failed. No one writes books about the girl who never tried. We admire those who bled, who lost, who got back up and kept swinging. We quote them, we name buildings after them, we call them legends. Weirdly another few years ago, I bought a lottery ticket when the jackpot hit $1 billion, just for fun. But as the drawing got closer, I felt something strange, fear. I was afraid of winning, because if I did, nothing I ever built would be truly mine. No one would ever believe I earned it. And I realized something that day. I didn't want to skip the struggle. I wanted to become the person who earned the victory. Because that's the story worth telling. The monster and the hero. The bigger the monster, the more epic the hero. So if your life feels impossibly hard right now, good. That means your story is going to be legendary, but only if you finish it. Don't waste the pain. Whatever you're going through, whatever hell you've seen, use it. Build something, prove something. Make it mean something. Because pain without purpose becomes poison, but pain with purpose becomes power. The 285, you won't care about the parties you missed. You won't care how many likes your posts got. You won't care who doubted you. You'll care whether you made it matter. You'll care whether you became who you were meant to be. You'll care if your grandkids look at you and say, "Damn, that's a story." So I'll ask you again, are you living a story worth telling? Because one day, it's the only thing you'll have left. You don't need more motivation. You need to move. Because no one's coming to save you. But you've got everything you need to save yourself. So stop watching and start writing the story that's worth telling.